Hello everyone, Power here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one I'd like to talk about Reidrago Vstar, but also mainly the expanded format. So the expanded format has undergone a lot of controversy in recent years due to many broken decks. Primarily those have been control decks, although some cards have been banned that were pretty oppressive, there is a lot to be desired from expanded, and I think it goes without saying that expanded really needs to see some major changes before it can be really taken seriously again. So expanded is kind of made up of three groups of players, I'd say. One group of players is like the casual side who, just want to play at a more casual level, throw everything into their deck. That's absolutely fine. That's not really the expanded that I have a problem with. The second part of expanded, or the second group of players, I should say, is a group of players who typically play, all like the random rogue stuff that isn't necessarily broken, but it's just like kind of wacky and out there, like all these crazy decks, all of which you can see on YouTube. So, that's like the second group of players. And then the third group of players are those who, play on the competitive scene of Expanded. And when you start to look at the competitive scene Expanded, you can start to see a lot of major flaws. And one of the biggest major flaws is dragon types. So, with expanded format, how it's essentially worked out is that we've had cards since the XY era in the expanded format now. So, we have XY, Sun and Moon, Black and White, all the way up to Sword and Shield, and now approaching Scarlet and Violet. So, cards like Reidrago Vstar over here, which has the attack Apex Dragon, allows you to choose an attack from a dragon Pokemon in your discard pile. This obviously has amazing versatility in expanded because it's obviously been a lot more dragon Pokemon. And what's even crazier about Reidrago V-Star is that it does have a pretty okay attack cost, I would say. Like, it's nothing too crazy. We'll explain why it's crazy in a second. But the attack cost, to give it credits where it's due, is not a horribly designed one. 2 grass and a fire is fairly awkward. So to get this going in standard, you have to use stuff like Gardenia's Vigor or Leafeon V. It's pretty inconsistent. There's a reason why people don't think very highly of Reidrago V-Star anymore. But, the attack Apex Dragon isn't that broken in standard. However, when we look at expanded, we have cards like Double Dragon Energy, which essentially acts as 2 Rainbow Energy or 2 Aurora Energy if you're more familiar with Sword and Shield stuff. 2 Aurora Energy on one of your Dragon type Pokemon, so we can actually use this attack with 2 energy. I know I'm playing a lot of energy in this deck anyway, like a lot of basics because I don't like whiffing attachments, but basically 2 energy attachments, so 1 fire, 1 grass, and then 1 double dragon, and you can pay for Apex Dragon. And then you can copy any dragon attack from your discard pile that you want. So Dialga GX, for example, has Timeless GX for 5 energy, which bear in mind is only 3 energy on Apex Dragon, does 150 damage, and you get to take another turn after this one. So if your opponent doesn't have more than 2 Pokemon in play, and you can KO them with Timeless Dragon, or Timeless GX I should say, then you'll basically be able to win the game, because you can just go Timeless GX, knock out their active, and then use another attack, i.e. Giratina's Lost Impact, and then KO the next Pokemon and win the game that way. But just being able to take an extra turn sometimes is really broken, and it's basically the only GX attack we really need to care about. We also play another GX attack though, in the form of GG End, which says discard one of your opponent's Pokemon and all cards attached to it. However, this Pokemon has at least 3 extra fighting energy attached to it. We never pay that attack cost, but if we did, we could theoretically discard 2 of our opponent's Pokemon instead. Typically, this is only used to discard 1 threat on the board, but I would say for the most part, Timeless GX is just a better attack. And then for the rest of the game, we have stuff like Giratina V-Star, which we can copy Lost Impact, that does 280. It says send 2 energy that attaches Pokemon to a Lost Zone, which seems like such a detriment to Reidrago, but the thing is, even though you're sending a double Dragon Energy to a Lost Zone, it doesn't matter, because you can just reattach another one and then redo the combo. So that's why that's a bit crazy. And then we have a Suing Gudra V-Star, which does Rolling Iron, 200 damage, and during the next turn, this Pokemon takes 80 less. So what you can essentially do is turn Reidrago V-Star into a 280 HP, 2-price Pokemon with no weakness and can take 80 less damage from attacks or can one-hit KO anything in the game. And I guess take an extra turn if you really want it. And basically, why that leads into why I think Expanded needs some major shakeups is just there's a lot of broken cards in Expanded now, and Pokemon don't really seem to care. Now, some signs that they maybe do care is that the X and Y format isn't actually making its way onto Pokemon TCG Live. It's just currently Sun and Moon. Now, that's not saying that they won't add X and Y. They could turn around to tomorrow or today even and say, right, we're adding X and Y formats, here you go. But currently, we do not actually have the X and Y formats on TCG Live. So we don't have stuff like Via Seeker, we also don't have stuff like Double Dragon Energy, and we don't have stuff like Floatstone, which is certainly some of the more broken trainers in the game and broken Splash Energy. So bearing that in mind, you could almost make the argument that maybe Pokemon is trying to nerf Expanded in a way by just limiting it to stuff like the Sun and Moon era, where you just have GXs and tag teams. Of course, this is obviously going to be a bit upsetting to people who prefer to play with Megas or EX Pokemon, but truthfully, if we're going to see a recession of Expanded, or like we need to see a bit of a comeback, I would say, in player positivity towards this format, then we'll have to see a decent amount of changes made to it for it to continue, basically. And one of those ways that I think they could approach it is maybe if they had two separate formats. So one format could cover Sun and Moon to Sword and Shield, and then the other format could cover X, Y, Black and White. And why I think they should do this is because Mega Evolutions and EX Pokemon in general can't typically compete with tag teams or V-Stars, V-Max, or the upcoming EX, definitely not. So I think it'd be better if they were in their own format, so to speak. And that would also remove broken trainers like VS Seeker and Battle Compressor from our current expanded format. However, that obviously is its own kind of worms. There'll be people that say, it's better to just have everything conjoined because there will still be a lot of broken cards. So if you don't create separate formats, and even if that doesn't fix it, where do you go from there? The most obvious answer from there on out is probably a ban list. And I think Double Dragon Energy is probably at the top of everyone's ban list right now. I think it's certainly the top of mine. Just banning this card would remove so many broken archetypes. Like being able to copy any of these attacks for essentially two energy attachments should not be a thing in this card game. Like I've played this deck enough to realize that playing this feels wrong in a way. Like it's fun to an extent, but when you realize just like how many stupid things you can do and just how many one-hit KOs you can take throughout a series of games, doing 200 damage, taking 80 less here and there, having an extra turn with Dialga, it's just crazy. And I don't think they should really be letting this go unchecked, if that makes sense. I think Double Dragon G has had its time. It's a cool card. It was great back in the day, but I do think it's time for it to go, to be honest. Anything else that needs to be gone? Battle Compressor is a fishy one because I know a lot of people really like this card. Discard up to 3 cards from your deck. Very useful in combination with stuff like VS Seeker, so you can almost guarantee a supporter card on certain turns. Also means you can thin out cards like Ho-Ho with Dark Energy and stuff in the Dark Patch decks. So there's many broken decks that come from Battle Compressor. It's like a bit of a mixed bag as whether or not that should be banned. VS Seeker, I'm kind of indifferent about, to be honest. I think this is like a perfectly okay card. It's not as broken as some people may think it is, but I don't know. I'm a bit wishy-washy on what I think about VS Seeker. Any other broken trainers, probably Trainer's Mail, I'd say, is unironically a very broken trainer. But yeah, I don't think we'll see Trainer's Mail anytime in Standard, anytime soon. But either way, there's just a lot of cards in Expanded, maybe not best amplified by, or best shown in this deck, I should say. There's stuff like Vileplume for Control or Lily's Pokédoll. That's definitely, I'd consider maybe looking at a ban list for that. But, it's all a bit crazy. But yeah, let me know what you think about Reidrago and the expanded format down below. Do you think they will change anything up? Do you think expanded will be left on its own per se? Or, do you think they will change it up with bans sometime soon? Or do you think they're just going to leave it as it is? But yeah, thank you for watching. It's been Power. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And yeah, hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching.